There is a cabbage in your fridge right now, probably half of one, wrapped in plastic, slightly forgotten. In 1949, a doctor at Stanford was prescribing that, juiced, a quart a day, and the ulcers in his patients were closing in an average of 7 days, when the standard treatment of the era took 42. His name was Garnett Cheney, and what happened to his research afterwards is stranger than the results. But before I tell you that, I need to tell you what happens to cabbage when you cut it, because there's a moment on the chopping board where the useful chemistry either starts or it does not. And boiling, which is what most of us were taught to do, is close to the worst thing you can do to it. 1949, California medicine, 13 patients with peptic ulcers. An ulcer in 1949 was a grinding, serious thing. The treatment was a bland diet, antacids, milk, rest, and a great deal of waiting. In the medical literature at the time, the average duodenal ulcer took around 37 days to close. Cheney's patients drank fresh, raw cabbage juice, a quart a day, split into 5 glasses. Everything else they ate was cooked deliberately, so the juice was the only source. His duodenal ulcers closed in an average of 10 days. The gastric ulcers were faster still, around 7. Sit with that, because it should sound too good to be true, and in one specific way it was. Cheney was not comparing his patients against a control group in the same building. He was comparing them to figures published by other doctors treating other patients in other hospitals. That is a weak comparison, and any researcher today would tell you so. Here is why it is not nonsense. In 1956, Cheney ran it properly, double-blind, placebo-controlled, concentrated cabbage juice against a look-alike drink in men at San Quentin prison, with the craters checked on X-ray by people who did not know who had received what. It still worked. Before we go further, some of you need something specific from me. If you take Warfarin, cabbage is not a free vegetable. It is high in vitamin K, which is exactly what Warfarin works against. And if you have persistent stomach pain right now, there's one thing you need to do before anything else in this video. I will tell you what it is near the end. Stay for that part. It matters more than the cabbage does. So, your stomach lining. Your stomach produces hydrochloric acid strong enough to strip paint, and it holds it inside a bag made of your own tissue. The only reason it does not digest itself is a layer of mucus and bicarbonate, a fraction of a millimeter thick, rebuilt constantly. An ulcer is what happens when that layer loses. Have you ever had a dull ache that turns up when your stomach is empty and eases the moment you eat something? That pattern is not random, and we will come back to it. Cheney spent 10 years on that lining. His lab induced ulcers in guinea pigs, then tried to prevent them with food. Certain raw green vegetables worked. The same vegetables cooked did nothing at all. He called the factor vitamin U for ulcer. It was never recognized as a vitamin, and we now know it as S-methylmethionine, a compound associated with increased mucus production in the stomach wall. More mucus, thicker barrier, faster repair. A soothing thing you drink, thickening the layer. It fitted the theory of the day perfectly. And then the whole field vanished. Because for most of the 20th century, everyone, Cheney included, believed ulcers came from stress or spicy food or too much acid. Then in 1982, 2 Australians in Perth found a spiral-shaped bacterium living in the stomachs of ulcer patients, in acid that was supposed to sterilize everything. Nobody believed them. Barry Marshall could not get the profession to take it seriously, so in 1984, he drank a culture of the bacterium himself. He had gastritis within days. He proved it on his own stomach lining. Helicobacter pylori. They took the Nobel Prize for it in 2005. And overnight, the entire diet story looked absurd. Ulcers were an infection. You treat an infection with antibiotics. Cabbage juice became a museum piece, the sort of thing your grandmother believed. Except, in 2002, researchers at Johns Hopkins tested a compound called sulforaphane against Helicobacter. Sulforaphane comes from brassicas, cabbage, broccoli, kale, sprouts. It was a potent bacteriostatic agent against 3 reference strains and 45 clinical isolates, including strains that had already stopped responding to conventional antibiotics. In 2009, a team in Japan fed sulforaphane-rich broccoli sprouts to 48 infected people for 2 months. Markers of colonization came down. Markers of inflammation came down, which raises a genuinely strange possibility. Cheney was measuring a heat-sensitive factor in raw cabbage that made ulcers heal faster. He thought it was a nutrient thickening the mucus. It may also have been acting on a bacterium that would not be discovered for another 33 years. He was possibly right, for entirely the wrong reason. Now, the honest limits, because you should hear them from me.
That sprout trial reduced colonization. It did not eradicate the infection, and 2 months after people stopped, the numbers returned to where they started. The human research is on broccoli sprouts, which carry far more of the precursor than a mature cabbage does. Antibiotics are the treatment. This is pressure applied daily to a lining that is under attack every hour you are alive. But the chopping board part is chemistry, not hope. Raw brassicas hold a glucosinolate called glucoraphanin, which does nothing on its own, and an enzyme called myrosinase, kept in a separate compartment of the cell. Cut the cabbage and you break the wall between them. They meet and the reaction produces sulforaphane. Myrosinase is a protein. Heat destroys it. Drop cabbage straight into boiling water and you deactivate the enzyme before it has made anything. Then pour a good portion of what is left down the sink. Cheney knew heat destroyed his vitamin U in 1949. He was right about the heat. He simply had the wrong compound in mind. So 3 things. Shred it and let it stand a few minutes before it goes near the pan. Same principle as resting crushed garlic. Give the enzyme time to work. Do not boil it. Steam it briefly, roast it, ferment it, or eat some raw in a slaw. Boiling is the one method that both kills the enzyme and washes away the product. And if you have already cooked it, add a pinch of mustard powder at the end. Mustard seed carries its own active myrosinase, and it restarts the reaction in food where the cabbage's own enzyme is long gone. It is a strange trick, and it works. And the thing I promised you, that empty stomach ache. If you have persistent stomach pain, get tested for Helicobacter. It's a breath test or a stool test, not a diet. Untreated, that infection is a real risk factor for stomach cancer, and no vegetable substitutes for finding out whether you have it. If you take Warfarin, do not swing your cabbage intake sharply either way. Consistency is what matters, and your clinic can adjust around a steady habit. But here's what you have now. You are not someone who boils cabbage until it surrenders. You are someone who knows there's an enzyme in there, that it is on a clock, and that a knife starts it and a saucepan ends it. So the next time you have half a cabbage and a pan of water heating up, what are you actually going to do with it? There is one more thing in that fridge, something almost everyone stores in exactly the wrong place, which quietly destroys the one compound it is famous for. That one is next. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more of these, the food already in your house and what it actually does inside you.